Welcome to Mind Body Monday, and thank you all for showing up. It's lovely to see new faces and familiar faces. In today's session, we're going to learn about antibiotics and gut health, what goes wrong, and what you can do about it. You're going to learn about the three most common mistakes people make when they take antibiotics and how to avoid making those mistakes, so you can have a most effective treatment if needed. And then I'm going to share with you 5 best practices how to fully restore your gut health after antibiotics. For those of you who are new, welcome once again. My name is Avraham Gundle. I'm the founder and director for the Center for Integrated Medicine. And over the last 30 years in private practice, I've been I'm very grateful to have helped many patients heal from a whole host of chronic issues, health diseases, health conditions, be it gut health, autoimmune conditions, arthritis, eczema, thyroid conditions, diabetes, etc. I'm trained as an osteopath and a naturopath, and I practice integrated and functional medicine. And I'm going to share with you a case history actually from my practice today. So let's think about it. Most of us over our life have taken at least one, if we're lucky, course of antibiotics, and probably most of us more than that. Now, as life-saving as they can really be, they are one of the biggest disruptors of gut health out there. They work indiscriminately to destroy both good and bad bacteria. And then the gut microbiome is sent scrambling to try and regroup. And in this process, it's very easy for other conditions to set in, like leaky gut, SIBO, IBS, candida overgrowth, etc., as a gut microbiome isn't in a balanced state. The good news is there's a lot that we can do, A, to prevent antibiotic use, and B, to help mitigate or offset some of the downsides. So I always like to share a real story from my practice. And just before I do that, I see there are some new faces. And for some of those of you who may be interested as well, I want to share with you some exciting news about my new Heal Your Gut program. These weekly Mind Body Monday sessions are sharing insights and lessons and teachings that I've discovered over my 30 years of practice as it relates to gut health, brain health, the gut-brain connection, immune health, and all things health and well-being. How to improve and boost your energy levels, etc., your mood, and so much more. The Heal Your Gut program is a deeper dive in one topic. Really, it's how to heal your gut from the inside out. It's an 8-week journey. It's fun, interactive, online, and you are able to get my focus, my attention, and to learn from the group around you. So you'll be able to get all the supportive strategies you need to heal your gut for good. We'll go into the exact specifics, what food to eat, what foods to avoid, and lovely, easy to make, mouth-watering recipes as well to heal your gut. And a key part of the program is how to learn to calm your mind and settle your emotions and relax. It's a big part of gut healing. Mostly, the other key factor about the program is how to avoid flare-ups and manage them if they happen. So if you think this Heal Your Gut program is for you and you may benefit, or you just want to get some more information, type in the chat now, gut health, and I'll come back to you in the next couple of days with some more info. So the Mind Body Monday program, weekly program, will continue, as I'm very passionate about sharing and empowering information, empowering people and sharing information to really help them live their best life. So let's come back to our patient for a minute. This is a 6-year-old little girl whose mom brought her into my practice because she was suffering from chronic otitis media, chronic ear infections. And she had had 3 antibiotics over the course of just 3 3 weeks, 4 weeks really, until her mother sort of gave up and came to see me. One of the reasons that prompted her was that her daughter was not getting any better, but she was actually getting worse. She had a weeping ear, she had broken out in eczema, she had some oral thrush, a candida fungal infection on the tongue. She was restless, low appetite, and really hard to handle. So before I go through my protocol to how I helped her, I want to share with you some background, because with that, you will be able to understand how it all fits together like a big puzzle. Firstly, I think it's important to know that in a recent article in the Gut Journal, which is actually run by the British Medical, by the BMJ, the British Medical Journal, they did some studies on the adverse effects of the gut microbiome as a result of antibiotics, how the immune system was impaired significantly. There were other conditions like metabolic syndrome, where there's a dysregulation in energy production as well. And they're finding correlations with obesity, stress, and even diabetes as a result of long-term antibiotic use. They also discovered a greater susceptibility to allergies, reinfection, and as a result of this low immune system. Now, if you've been following me on Mind Body Monday, you've come to recognize that the gut microbiome is really a separate organ, so to speak, within the human body. It's an entire ecosystem living in ideally biological harmony. It's in this biological community. And I like to think of the gut microbiome pretty much like a rainforest, where the rainforest floor is filled with so much life and so many different organisms living together and coexisting together in a synergistic relationship. And that's pretty much how our gut microbiome is, because it's home to almost 100 trillion microorganisms. That's 100 trillion microorganisms inside our body that is regulating so much of our health and well-being. And there are over 400 different species of bacteria. And in this forest floor within our gut, so much is going on. The gut microbiome plays a critical role in our immune system. 60 to 80% of our immune system is in our gut. It helps us with our digestion, with our immune system, with guarding against inflammation, foreign pathogens, viruses, bacteria, fungi, etc. It regulates our metabolism. It helps us with our brain function, our mood, and so much more. It's a separate ecosystem within our body. Now, enter antibiotics, and as life-saving as they really are, they are one of the most potent microbiome gut disruptors. They quickly destroy bacteria in a very aggressive way and destroy the diversity. And this is a key word, that diversity of the gut microbiome. It's a little bit like in the forest floor, if you can just take out a whole series of organisms that keeps the whole thing working properly as one big organism, then all the poisonous plants or disrupting plants will really, or the more aggressive plants will take over and disrupt the ecosystem significantly and damage the forest. By way of analogy, if you've ever made bread, I certainly have, and you put in commercial yeast, some warm water, bit of sugar, some salt, you stir it and you stand back obviously with your flour, and you just watch within 20 to 30 seconds, you've got this mushrooming of this huge yeast taking over and flowering of the dough, which is gorgeous and amazing to see. And then you punch it down and then it comes up for a second try. But this gives you an idea of how aggressive these fungi and bacteria can be. So when antibiotics come in and destroy the good and the bad, then the more aggressive bad ones overpower, pretty much like that yeasting in the bread. And that causes a complete disruption of their ecosystem. And that's why people feel so lousy, being either fatigue or lethargy or diarrhea or skin issues or brain fog, you name it, a whole bunch of things. The best prevention really is a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle. I wish there was a magic pill or a fast shortcut. I haven't yet found it. Now, just as we all have a very deep respect for gravity, especially if we're close to a cliff edge and looking down, so too, just as that is a non-negotiable, so too there are certain non-negotiables or certain health principles that the body must have in order to thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But so much of these health principles are either they're not understood well or they're not put in place consistently enough to really get the benefits of true vitality. So let's look at 3 common mistakes to avoid when taking antibiotics. I think the first thing to know is you and your doctor are your greatest ally. You have one common goal in mind with your doctor, and that is your health and well-being. So it's perfectly okay to respectfully question your doctor in a cooperative way, in an earnest way to really try and understand what's best for you. And the first thing is to really get clear, is this infection that you have viral or bacterial? Because sometimes antibiotics are prescribed because there's limited time with each patient, and some viral infections look like bacterial infections, and antibiotics are prescribed for viral infections. And this simply is not going to help, because antibiotics help against bacterial infections. So it's first important to get a clear diagnosis. And the other thing is always to listen to your body. If you know that this is the beginning of a cellulitis, or this is how your body feels in the beginning of some sort of infection, and even though the traditional signs and symptoms aren't there, but this is how your body has reacted in the past, then you want to be really swift to nip it in the bud and get the right antibiotic that has worked in the past for this condition right now. Because different antibiotics work differently for different bacterial infections, and this is your doctor's expertise. But sometimes the wrong antibiotic is given, or if you know how your body responds best to which antibiotic, that one you should kindly insist on getting. And that's really important. The other thing to check out with your doctor is what duration of antibiotic is required. Sometimes it's a 3-day, sometimes it's a 5 or a 7 or a 10-day. And it's really important because research is showing that shorter antibiotics given over shorter duration can be just as effective as antibiotics given over 7 or 10 days. And in that shorter duration, mitigating, offsetting some of the harmful effects in disruption of the gut microbiome. So all these are really important questions to clarify in a gentle and possibly sometimes firm, but a cooperative way with your healthcare provider. The second mistake to avoid is really not to prescribe yourself if you've got some left over from before, because things may be different, but really also to complete the course of antibiotics that's been prescribed. Very soon after taking antibiotics, a person may feel great. Their energy may return, the appetite will come back, and they think they're all okay. And that may be on the outside, but on the inside, your body is fighting fiercely to destroy the bacteria. And if you stop prematurely, as tempting as it could be, and I know a lot of my patients do this, it could cause a reinfection. It could cause an antibiotic-resistant form of bacteria to mutate, and other complications. And the World Health Organization did some in-depth research on the consequences of stopping antibiotics prematurely. This is why you have a doctor, bring him into or her into your life, and really get clear the right duration for your condition. The third mistake to avoid is start taking probiotics as soon as possible with your antibiotics. As a rule of thumb, people ask me, when is the best time to take your probiotic? So firstly, on the same day. So if you're not feeling well and you're suspecting a bacterial infection, already start taking probiotics, because that way you'll get ahead of the game. So the best time to take probiotics is about 2 hours before your antibiotic and 2 hours after you've taken it. This way, you will be able to prevent some of the damage to the flora, while the antibiotic will also do its work to destroy the harmful bacteria. Now, I have said to some of my patients, sometimes an antibiotic can cause diarrhea, and one of the ways to offset that then is an exception to what I've just said, is also take an antibiotic and a probiotic at the time of taking an antibiotic. So there's the window before, 2 hours before the antibiotic, 2 hours afterwards, and if there's a loose stool, then with your antibiotic as well. And this way you'll have an easier journey for the duration of your treatment. Okay, folks, it's Mind Body Monday. We've been sitting and talking for a while. Guess what? It's time to take a nice deep breath in. So join me here, taking a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, relax your shoulders down. Feel your back against the back of the chair. The oxygen oxygenates our brain, helps us focus, helps us learn, and of course, relaxes the gut. I want to share with you my 5 best practices to restore your gut microbiome, the balance after your antibiotic. Number 1, I'm going back to first principles. The best prevention is to guard yourself like you would keep yourself away from the edge of a high cliff. By keeping the rules of great health in healthy eating, healthy thinking, healthy lifestyle. All these are principles I've covered in previous Mind Body Mondays, because this is the health of your body. I've done so much research that the stronger you are, then you'll be more resistant and more resilient against any infection, be it the past infections that's been going on around the world or reinfections, etc. The key is the host's immune system. That's us. By eating and living healthy, happy lives as much as possible, at least 80% of the time, in terms of that health eating part, that way you'll be able to fortify your immune system, and you may be exposed to some nasty bacteria out there or viruses, but it will not affect you at all, because you have a strong, robust immune system because of your healthy lifestyle and healthy eating principles. So let's look at some of these 5 strategies and my best practices to restore gut health. So the focus for the first 2 strategies is really all around your diet, to look for and get natural bacterial replenishment. These are called probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics, which I've spoken about on previous Mind Body Mondays. So check out the replays on YouTube. The key piece here is fermented foods. Begin to explore adding them into your diet, like sauerkraut or fermented pickles or kefir or kimchi or kvass, which I've just harvested 5 liters of fermented beet juice, and it's fantastic probiotic for the gut. Remember, 80% of our immune system is in our gut. So we want to include probiotic food as a normal part of our life. So you can either purchase raw probiotics or make them the cultured vegetables. A quick YouTube video will help you set you straight. Or you can also take a probiotic supplement. I personally use supplements when I travel, because it's more difficult to travel with live probiotic food. But during the week, I'm having 2 or 3 helpings of probiotics, cultured vegetables in my diet, a little bit for my morning meal, afternoon and evening meal, some sort of cultured vegetable. And I did mention the key piece for microbiome health is what's called the microbiome diversity. You want as many strains as possible. So if you do sauerkraut, that's great. You also, one week, you can do pickled vegetables, you can do pickled cucumbers, or an unpasteurized miso. All of these have different qualities that strengthen the microbiome and increase the diversity. And that creates the synergy for a very robust, strong immune system. So if you can't manage to make something or buy a probiotic or make your own fermented foods, that's fine. You can just go with a probiotic supplement. And as mentioned, the best time to do that is 2 hours before, 2 hours afterwards, or if you're having trouble with a probiotic or an antibiotic, have it with the antibiotic as well. So that's another easy way to get your probiotics in. And I always tell my patients, keep your probiotics up until at least 3 weeks after you've completed your antibiotic. This will help give your gut, that forest floor, an internal forest floor, an opportunity to revive as much as possible. I also tell my patients to add natural antibiotics as well. Things like oregano oil or oregano or garlic or grapefruit seed extracts. There are many, many foods where in nature, these foods like oregano has a very potent oil that protects the leaves from insects out in nature. So when we eat these leaves or have the oil extract, they confer those same health benefits to us as well. And garlic has the same properties, also increasing extra vitamin C. So one of the key things about when a person has, unfortunately, a bacterial infection that are on antibiotics, see this as an invitation, see this as an opportunity to clean up your diet. Because bacteria feed off sugar. In a lab, they make in a petri dish, there's an agar gel, and then they put on, it's a sugar substrate that bacteria feed off, and they love it, and they grow. So if you're eating sugar or sugary things or drinking sugary things when you have an infection, you're only feeding the infection. It's like adding fuel to the fire. So there's an opportunity during an infection to really pull back, look into your diet and clean things up. Having at least 70 to 80% of natural of fruits and vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, whole foods without preservatives. I've been through the eating principles in previous Mind Body Mondays, but pull back and cut back on sugar particularly. And some of my patients I also suggest to cut back on dairy, perhaps wheat, perhaps gluten, depending on each person where I test them and see what's needed. But as you clean up your diet and put back the good stuff, your body will thank you and recover much, much quicker. The fourth strategy is to stay hydrated. That is so important. Dehydration is very, very common, especially now in the summer. And when a person is on antibiotics, the body really needs more liquid than normal, more water than normal to flush out the debris, because these bacteria are being killed and need to get flushed out some way. So drinking water or lemon water or bone broth or extra liquids is so important, just to flush your body. And if you have energy, very light exercise, perhaps a gentle walk or gentle rebounding, something to move that lymphatic circulation, which is the way the toxins are moved out through the body. The fifth suggestion to regroup your gut microbiome is rest. And sleep is the best medicine. And it's the cheapest too, because research has shown that the microbiome has a circadian rhythm at different times of the day. Different bacteria in the gut or different organisms in the gut are stronger. There's certain bacteria that come out at night in the gut, which is a good thing, and some during the day. So by getting your sleep into a natural rhythm and not pushing yourself beyond exhaustion, you give your body the best chance to sleep. Don't judge yourself for being tired or for being lethargic. The body's healing, and the best thing you can do is give yourself a chance to heal, and rest is that gateway. Let's take a nice deep breath in again. Breathing out, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your belly. Let's come back to our 6-year-old patient. Now that you've really understood a little bit of the context of where I'm coming from and how my interventions helped. So I attributed her eczema flare-up, her oral thrush, her loss of appetite, her irritability to one root cause. If you guess what that is, type that in the chat. Go ahead. What is that one root cause for this 6-year-old's dysregulation? A thrush, a loss of appetite, irritability, eczema. What do you think that is? That's right. It's a disrupted gut microbiome, also known as dysbiosis. This little girl, within a matter of weeks, had 3 massive doses of antibiotics to help her ear infection, which can absolutely be cured 100% without antibiotic use. That's my experience. It's very important to catch these things early on. The first sign of a kid pulling at the ear, rubbing the ear, or acting out, having a little runny nose, that's the time to intervene. Don't wait for things to spiral out of control. So I suggested to her mom, and we spoke together about creating a very kid-sensitive, a kid-appropriate 30-day cleansing program, which included some gut healthy snacks, health-friendly snacks for this little girl. When she did 5 or 6 days of success within those 30 days, she'd get a little health treat. We gave her extra probiotics, some immune-boosting supplements, which helped to raise her immune system and, most importantly, to heal her ear. Now, guess what? Within 1 week, she was already feeling better. And within 2 weeks, she was back to herself. And to this day, she has been ear infection-free completely by these simple, natural practices that just obey the rules of gravity as they apply to the body. The body's always seeking to heal. The body's always moving in a healing direction. We just have to follow the lead and lead the way as well. For those of you who just joined or joined in the middle, I just wanted to say welcome to you. And if you missed the exciting news at the beginning, I'm very excited to share my new Heal Your Gut program. It's designed for those of you who want to take a deeper dive in healing your gut. Super practical. You'll be able to learn and apply my step-by-step approach to heal your gut from the inside out. So if you think this is for you or you want some more info, just type gut health in the chat and I'm going to come back to you. Thanks once again for joining me on Mind Body Monday, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And just remember that Mind Body Monday is where self-care is the heart of healthcare. All you need to do is take one small step in the direction of health and wellness in mind, body, and soul. See you next week.